Talking Comics, where we are bagged, boarded, and pre-recorded. I'm Ryan.
I'm Sean.
Alright. That was my best God impressionation. Not like God with a capital G, lowercase g. Because we're talking about Thor today. And I can't do a Norse accent or a deep British accent. So...
You're not Hemsworth.
I'm not him. I'm not. I cry about it every day. I just want to be one of the three Chris's in general. Evans, Hemsworth, Pratt.
Oh.
Actually, that reminds me of something funny I saw on Twitter. Do you know what Chris Pratt's kid went for as Halloween?
Mm-mm.
Captain America.
Not Star-Lord.
Not Star-Lord. At least I'm pretty sure it was his kid. Some relative of his.
Some random kid he grabbed from the park.
Why not Star-Lord?
Come with me. I'm Star-Lord.
No, you're that fat guy from Parks and Rec.
That's what I was saying. You said the three Chris's. The first thing that popped into my head, Farley. Like, that's how I roll. Literally and figuratively.
May he rest in peace. So, before we get into the Thor of it, you have some news.
I do. I have some quick snippets that dropped as of this recording. Brian Michael Bendis.
That guy's a long-time Marvel writer.
Correct. Just jumped to DC.
Really?
Creator of Jessica Jones, Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man. He recently he started up. We talked about this too. The new Defenders run that they were going to do, kind of springboarding off the Netflix series, and a huge book that you and I both read, Civil War II.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Dang.
No hardship, no bad feelings, no quote unquote creative differences. It was just he wanted to change.
Yeah,
that was it, and they offered him nice contract, money, everything, which is great. But I don't know. He's one of those guys.
That's great, but it's kind of a bummer. I mean, the new Defenders were just getting started.
Yeah, it's I mean, they could still do it, but would it be the same?
Who knows? I mean, Marvel's got all kinds of great writers right now, and so I really can't say for certain. I mean, yeah, who knows what will happen with that.
We were talking about this earlier, or kind of.
I mean, I could easily see them getting some of the guys that worked on Power Man and Iron Fist doing the project. That'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool.
But we were just looking at something before we went on air a little bit ago where, as far as Marvel goes right now, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're better off than DC. Well, no, I take that back.
Now, DC's really been, at least up until recently, I don't know how things are going. I've heard there's a little fluctuation with their Rebirth business, but with them doing all the Rebirth comics, business in the DC Comics world have been good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's mostly what you've been selling lately.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Whereas with Marvel, ticket sales are better than book sales.
Yeah.
But speaking of Marvel, one more little bit of news.
Mm-hmm.
Disney is in serious negotiations with 20th Century Fox to purchase.
I recently did hear that Fox was looking to sell some stuff, sell off their brand. I'm not surprised, actually. I'm not too surprised Disney's the one they're going to.
When I'll get to this in a minute because people who are listening right now would probably be as giddy. Their first reaction would probably be the same as Ryan and I's. They're not doing when they're purchasing 20th Century Fox. It's the fact that not Fox Sports, not news. They're not doing anything like that. They want the entertainment media part of it.
Yeah.
So you get which I didn't know. Fox, I guess, is linked with a lot of phone companies and distributors like that. And yes, the most important thing, we're going to see the first family and those certain group of mutants probably come together with the Avengers sooner than later.
Hugh, you might finally get your wish.
Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, yeah. They've been lobbying for this for a while. But it's also due to the fact that the way things are going with like an ABC, a CBS, NBC, the streaming services.
Yeah. Disney's
doing their own thing. We talked about this before where they're pulling their certain things from Netflix.
Yeah.
Fox isn't a strong enough company to do... They don't have the capability or the marketability or enough the content to get off the ground to do a stream the way things are going with streaming services. So that's what they're selling, which is yes. Let's.
I think that's awesome, but now that you've brought up Disney trying to do their streaming service, it's kind of left a bad taste in my mouth.
It's confirmed though.
Streaming services have become a double-edged sword, but that's a whole other thing.
Well, it's like, okay, you're going to spend... I'm so tired of spending the $200 and something for cable, so I'm just going to get this. Oh, I like this show. Oh, I like this show. Oh, I like this show. Well, this one's on CBS. This one's on NBC. This is on Netflix. This is on ABC. This is on AMC. The $8.99 or the $9 or $10 or whatever it is adds up. You're paying the same as cable.
Yeah.
Depends on how much you want.
Yeah, I mean, and I am a streaming addict. I have multiple streaming subscriptions, one of which I'm actually going to change here in the near future. But yeah, I have multiple streaming services. I have Netflix, I have Hulu, I have Crunchyroll, I have Amazon Prime Video, but that's only because that comes in a bundle with Amazon Prime itself. So that's like four right there. Oh, and YouTube Red. So I'm spending like $50 on entertainment streaming services a month.
Yeah, see, so you're like a quarter of the way there from just paying the same as cable. But yeah, I think it'll be great. And the Disney thing, it's like they're pulling. Obviously, they're going to pull like the movies.
Yeah.
From Netflix, the Marvel series like Daredevil,
the Netflix
Defenders,
originals.
They're staying.
Yeah, because that's not necessarily a contract with Disney as much as it is a contract directly with Marvel.
It's more, Marvel, Netflix. Whereas, like, right now, you can go on there and watch Star Wars Rogue One.
Yeah, and Doctor Strange.
They're going to get pulled. Which makes sense. I mean, you know, Disney knows they're jumping on board, and they're a juggernaut. They always have been. But they're mainly focusing on, like, they're from the Vault series stuff. Like, they're animated stuff.
That's not a bad idea.
If you subscribe that, you don't have to wait the 5-10 years every time Disney, quote unquote, opens the vault.
Yeah.
You're paying for it. You can watch The Lion King. You can watch Beauty and the Beast. You can watch The Little Mermaid anytime you want.
That reminds me of what I just added onto my Hulu list. I found
Little Mermaid?
No, The Fox and the Hound.
Ooh, Fox and the Hound.
I love that movie, even though it breaks my heart every time.
It happens.
My feels. Anyways.
Would it make you feel better if we reenacted a scene from Lady and the Tramp later? My wife's making spaghetti.
You're
good?
I'm not that big a fan of spaghetti.
That's not a no, folks.
And I know you're not a fan of Alfredo. We can't meet halfway.
We're going
literally
all the way.
we can't all the way. Literally and metaphorically.
All right, enough of that.
But before we get into our main topic, how much longer till Disney is literally a monopoly on the entertainment business?
Not too much longer.
Like,
man.
Another 10 years, they're going to own everything? Can you guys buy out Comcast and make that shit better?
It's just going to be, they're going to change everything. They're going to own everything.
Yeah. That reminds me of something. I'll probably do a recording just by myself of this later, but there's some bullshit going on in the internet industry right now that really needs to be addressed and fixed. Some of you more savvy nerds out there probably already know about this. What was it called again?
Ryan's looking at me going, not you, Sean.
Yeah, not you. Shit, where did it go?
Anyway, I was going to say they probably just changed their whole streaming service and just call it like one umbrella, the House of Mouse. Make Mickey relevant again.
Gosh. Okay. Yeah. So there. I'm not going to get too into it, but there's this thing called net neutrality, and it was this bill that got passed so that the internet providers and whatnot couldn't like charge people, like charge websites, so that that website could get the best internet possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'll post a link to this website called battlefortheinternet.com in the link in the description.
Yeah.
Check it out, any of you that don't want your internet fucked. They are trying to get as many people to call Congress so that they can stop voting on the bill to end the net neutrality bill thing that's coming out. I'll probably do a personal recording sometime in the near future on the whole thing.
Like the blank look on my face, like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sean's lost. But yeah.
Did they do a comic of that?
go online, look up battlefortheinternet.com, and you can read all about it there. It's really important, especially for small time internet entertainers like us, that the internet works great for everyone.
Oh,
so
some bullshit coming.
Yeah,
huh?
Some serious bullshit. I'll send you a link to it later.
Okay.
Anyways, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Now that
Say, way to bring the room down, sir.
it's much like the Thor movies. It's a sandwich. The first part was good. That part was not so good. And now we're coming back in with the good. It's a sandwich.
I enjoy the Dark World.
It's
a
really compliment sandwich. It's not that the Dark World was bad.
Not as much as I enjoy your little hammer I noticed right
Yes,
here. That's adorable.
I drew a little hammer on my notes.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, we're talking Ragnarok, baby.
So it was good. It was pretty good.
Thank you. Good night. No.
Have a day.
Yeah, right. All right, we're spoilers.
Yes.
Spoilers.
This is your spoiler warning. Do 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 do.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about major plot points and some not so major plot points, but there will be plot points nonetheless.
Let's start with the. Let's see. Okay, if you guys haven't seen it yet and you're listening to it, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Taika Waititi.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Taika Waititi. Sounds like I sneezed. I know.
Tuesday
is the director.
Yes.
And awesome dude.
Yeah.
From New Zealand.
The Kiwi.
He's a Kiwi, not to be confused with an Aussie. Never confuse the two.
It's like comparing the British to Irish. Irish hate being compared to the British.
Irish hate being compared to anybody. Scottish. What's a Scotsman wear under his kilt?
Nothing.
His pride. What's an Irishman wear under his kilt? His shoes. No, Taika Waititi. Have you guys ever seen a movie called like What We Do in the Shadows?
Or maybe this little ditty came out a few years back. Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
He was in that.
Even more recently, Moana.
Moana.
With The Rock, the animated Disney. Speaking of Disney.
Shit.
Yeah, 2011 Green Lantern. That was
I mean, he wasn't like head director on that, right? Like he was just like working on it.
He was AD.
AD?
Assistant director.
Assistant. Okay, so yeah,
he was a rock. Let's put it this way. I don't know how I know this, but I do have some inside information. He was a rock star in the writing room. No, this guy's great, man. A sweet individual. Super cool.
Yeah.
Funny as hell, as you can tell in this movie.
Yes. He really... I feel like he saw Guardians of the Galaxy and he was like, if I made a Thor movie, I kind of want it to have humor like this.
Dude, think about it. You could break this movie up in sections, and it could almost be a sitcom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thor and Loki trying to find their dad.
I'm watching this movie, and first of all, I noticed right off the bat, Marvel is not afraid to make fun of anything, especially themselves. Like with the, hey, big guy, sun's going down. They're talking. I was like...
So, if you guys remember from Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. Which wasn't well received. That was one of those ones that people kind of poo-pooed on a little bit.
They need to pull the stick out of their ass.
I know, but...
So Black Widow would go, the sun's going down. And you say that to calm down
They're talking the Hulk down off the ledge, yeah.
And they reference that. There's so many Easter eggs in this movie, you guys. Just to list a couple that some of you might not have recognized. Like Sean said, the sun is going down.
I've got
one of the Easter eggs. The Rock guy. What was that guy's name again?
Everybody's new favorite Marvel character, Korg.
Korg, yes.
Now, before we go any further, what I got from this, which it wasn't spot on, but they were referencing 2 books in one movie.
Yeah.
And they flip-flop characters insertion. Like, there's a Thor Ragnarok book, and there is a Planet Hulk book. Yes. And all they did was insert Thor into Planet Hulk and Hulk into Ragnarok. Yeah. But Korg is a character in Planet Hulk.
Yeah. Well,
bringing him to life was genius.
There's this scene where Thor is trying to pick out his weapons for his big match coming up.
Yes.
And Korg is like, "Hey, you can use this spear. It's got 3 wooden spikes on it. It's only really good if you need to stab 3 vampires standing in real close together," which is a reference to
What We Do in the Shadows, starring Sam Neill,
which was directed and written by Taika Waititi.
And Sam Neill. I mean, that's how the movie started, with this play.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that thing with. Like Odin, like if you guys remember the Dark World, like if you guys are just like, let's say there's people out there listening that are just Thor fans, which in my experience are few and far between. But you waited a lot of years, like almost waiting for a George Lucas Star Wars movie in between before Disney took over. You're waiting a long time between Dark World and Ragnarok. Last we saw, quote unquote, Loki had died and everybody saw him die, but he took form of Odin.
Yeah.
And it was like, how it ended was Loki was on the throne in the form of Odin.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell happened to Odin? Everything's fine, blah, blah, blah. Here, this movie starts out, there's a play showing how Loki saved Asgard, saved the world, saved the galaxy.
Sacrificing himself.
He's sacrificing. And remember the big Rocky statue that he had with the embers and everything?
It's a nice statue.
I know. He's like... When Thor was giving him shit, like talking to him, he looks more hokey and dorky. And so I can't remember the dialogue, but...
So, what's really great about this play that they're putting on...
Tell them who played.
Matt Damon was in it.
Matt Damon.
Fucking Matt Damon.
As Loki. Sam Neill from, as you mentioned, What We Do in the Shadows, and the very first Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody is Sam Neill. In the Mouth of Man. I can go on about his body of work. He played Odin.
Mm-hmm.
And the most unknown of the Hemsworth brothers, Luke Hemsworth, was playing Thor. That was Chris Hemsworth's brother.
Really? Dang, I did not know that.
I know, my wife and I saw it. She's like, is that the dude? Is that Jax from Sons of Anarchy? I'm like, no, that's Luke Hemsworth. That's Chris Hemsworth's brother.
Nice. Like, I saw the movie with Josh from episode 13. And I lean into it. I'm like, is that fucking Matt Damon? Yeah. He's like, that is fucking Matt Damon.
With a horrible, horrible Loki wig. That wig. I think that was done on purpose.
And like, that leads me straight to one of my Easter eggs. In that, and Thor, as the play goes on, and Thor's like, I forgive you for all the things. I'm sorry I turned you into a frog that time. It was a good joke.
Yeah.
In the comics, Loki turned Thor into a frog.
Oh, God, yes. We've talked about this before. I missed that. You're right. Damn it! Now that you say
That's one of the Easter eggs.
Thor frog. Thor frog.
So is the scene that comes after that when when Thor's trying to coax Loki out of being disguised as Odin, and he throws his hammer into the distance and grabs him by the back of the head and says, "You know, my hammer always comes back to this hand." And that's straight out of the comics. That's straight out the comics. There are so many good parts. So many.
Let's stop there at that scene right there. Everybody on this film, before we go any further, the way Takia directs and writes and just his presence, like I said, this dude is a cool guy.
Yeah.
Everybody looked like they were having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Even the limited role that Anthony Hopkins had.
Yeah.
Because I just finished watching Westworld, the first season. I think I've talked about it briefly on the show. And he's always like very solemn. I mean, Anthony Hopkins' role is very serious, and domineering, and kind of morbid at times and down. He's over there, he's eating grapes. Granted, I know it's Loki on the film, but it's Anthony Hopkins, and he's all everybody's having a great old time on the set. That's what this guy does, man. Everybody was having fun, and the funny was just non-stop.
Yeah, they really knocked it out of the park with the jokes. Were all very well timed and well written. Like,
even, this is before we get to like the Cate Blanchett stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and she was like, just like every scene she was in was just like, she owned everything and she was having fun with it, and she was just like taking risks and everything despite those. Look at my antlers. She's like, I look like a Nordic drag queen. I'm just gonna go for it. I mean, oh my god! So, it was so much fun.
There's this scene in it where when she gets back to Asgard and she's going through to raise her army, and she walks by the
Odin's vault.
Yeah, they go into Odin's vault, and she walks by Infinity Gauntlet.
Fake.
She's like, that's a fake. Knocks it over, which totally writes off when you see it in the previous Thor movies.
The end of Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Final. He left a fake because even the little scene with the Tesseract, that's there, which I'm convinced 2 people have been down in that vault in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Cate Blanchett, Hela, and Loki was down there too. They both stopped and looked at the Tesseract.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee, I don't know how they're going to do it. It's speculation at this point, but I guarantee Loki snagged that Tesseract.
Yeah.
Before we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Another deep Easter egg pull is the scene when they're showing the tower on the planet. It shows all the champions from the
Sakaar.
Yeah, Sakaar on this big tower, and it shows all the champions.
Battle World.
On the Battle World, and they're like building Hulk's face on there because he's the champion, right? But underneath him, I saw a familiar face.
Oh yeah.
A little character named Beta Ray Bill.
Thor debuted episode Thor 337.
Nerd. He's like Thor if Thor was a horse.
Well,
that's the best way to describe him is horse Thor.
Kind of.
For anyone that isn't familiar, he's from like a certain part of the galaxy, or
it was a thing where oh god, what's his name? Eisner? No, it wasn't Eisner. Anyway, the guy who created Beta Ray Bill was wanting to do something where bring in a character that you don't know upon if you, as a reader, you look at it firsthand, and is he a good guy or a bad guy? You don't know because he's just like kind of terrifying to some.
Yeah, like he's a scary looking dude.
But he's the one where like Superman, someone like Superman, I know it's Marvel, but Superman or Captain America or anything, they've touched about this in the movies and the comics, wouldn't be worthy enough to lift Moliere.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact that Moliere is ultimately a weapon of destruction.
Yeah.
And it kills.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America and Superman would never kill.
Yeah.
They would not kill. So they would not be worthy. Whereas but he was going to bring in, God, it's driving me nuts of who created Beta Ray Bill. His name is on the tip of my tongue. he wanted to bring in a character who could lift Mjolnir, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started fighting over it with Thor because he's like, I'm worthy too, I'm worthy too. And then eventually, to the point, if you've read the comics, like I did, he got his own hammer. There was two. It was called Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
And he got his fucking hammer.
Now that you've brought that up, I didn't know that actually. Because I've only seen him in little bits and pieces, like in Avenger books and
I flipped out.
The Planet Hulk animated movie.
Yeah.
So that means that there could be another Mjolnir type hammer out in the universe. Thor, if you guys didn't watch the trailers or the movie, why are you still here? Go watch the fucking movie. I digress.
Yeah, don't listen to us.
Thor's hammer breaks in the movie. I just watched Sean deflate like a balloon. Don't remind me.
I'll get there as we go. I've got my list.
Yes, I'll let Sean
down the movie.
Take it. I'm being a chatty Cathy today.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go. After you, sir.
No, actually, my next bullet point was Tessa Thompson, who I loved as Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Again, she was on Westworld.
She is smoking.
Right. She was also Creed, which we've talked about. I consider Creed a superhero movie.
Oh, yeah. She was the girlfriend, right?
She was the deaf girlfriend that did the love interest. She is... I'm getting the chills just talking about her. Picked perfect. Not to mention the fact that I told Ryan earlier before we went on air, probably has the best entrance in any Marvel movie.
Stumbles off of her ship drunk.
She comes in with the big entrance, the big badass hero, villain, whatever you want to call it. Whether you're a hero or a villain, you have that ominous entrance that comes. She's drunk off her ass. It just falls off the ramp of her ship. Oh, that's another. I'm doing it right now. I'm just going back and remembering because I was like, I couldn't catch my breath. That's why I had to see it twice. Because I was like laughing so hard, crying, can't catch my breath. I know I missed a lot of stuff. I'm like, I got to go back and see it again. Yeah. It's so goddamn funny. And speaking of funny, Chris Hemsworth, hands down, he has no business being that funny.
Yeah.
And still, well, then again, I digress. The new Ghostbusters, which I've caught a lot of shit for. He was the funniest. If you've seen it, he was the fun.
Yeah, I've
in
heard,
that movie.
I've heard that he was really funny in the Ghostbusters movie.
He pulls it off without lessening his character.
Yeah,
you know, he's
still a really
Thor.
Good actor.
He's very underrated.
Like,
you know,
I feel like you could put Hemsworth in pretty much any movie and he'd kill it.
Oh yeah. My wife would agree with you too. She's like, I'll make a movie with him. No. She's told me that numerous times. I'm like, I'll make a movie with him. But yeah, I mean, he's just... here's a good example. That scene in the elevator with him and Loki.
Yeah.
It was touching. I mean, okay, here we go. Everybody knows who knows me. There was a moment I welled up.
And your wife turns to you, oh, God.
Jesus, I can't believe I let you. But they're having the... It's like... Two brothers finally coming to terms because, you know, all these other movies up until then, and it's been 10 years. Next year will be 10 years that Marvel's cinematic universe has been in existence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's come to the point where when he's like, I've always been a fan. I've always held you in high regard, Loki. Mm-hmm. I've always been on your side. And Loki has that moment where it's like, and it just dawns on him now.
I'm the asshole.
I'm the asshole. It's like, oh my God, you're right. And then it's so touching. I'm just like, oh my God.
And the director's like...
Oh, guess what? And then after that scene, we're just going to do...
180 and... So how do you want to approach this situation?
Get help.
Get help? No, I don't want to do get help. It's embarrassing. Not for me. Get help. My brother, he's hurt.
Get help. Explain get help in that scene. It's not really a spoiler. So far, we haven't really done too many spoilers.
So the scene, they're trying to steal a ship, and they do this tactic Thor came up with probably years and years ago called get help, where Loki pretends he's injured, and Thor is carrying him. Get help. My brother, he's hurt. Help. Get help. And the guards turn and they're going to shoot. So Thor throws Loki at the guards and knocks them out.
Like bowling. He just throws them and he's like, bah!
And Loki pops up. I hate Get Help.
It's so embarrassing. Not for me. It's almost like the Star Wars one where they try to put the handcuffs on Chewbacca. You know, it's like, he's all, nah, hold on, Chewie. I know where they were going with this. And they're doing the, oh my God. So funny. And they played it off later on, too, when they're on the bridge, which we'll get to.
I'm not doing Get Help.
They're all doing the heroic group thing, you know? They're like, kind of like Guardians 2.
Yeah.
When they're all doing the heroic group pose stance, and then the debris falls down on Mantis, and then there's a delayed reaction where after she gets taken out, Mantis, look out! They're sitting there just like, I'm not doing Get Help.
Ah, man.
Oh my God. Now,
I feel like, all right, so if thus far you guys are enjoying our podcast and you're like, God, such a good movie, or you're like using this to gauge whether or not you actually want to go see the movie in theater, we aren't doing it justice. No matter how good you think this is or how bad you think this is, we're definitely not doing the movie justice. It's, you know what? I'll say it. It's my second favorite Marvel movie, right behind Spider-Man.
Right? It's definitely my top 5.
Like,
definitely my top 5.
If it weren't for the Spider-Man movie and that soft spot I have in my heart for him, this would be number 1. It hit all the right notes of action and humor, and it was really spectacular. And they need to get Waititi on more. Taika Waititi.
Correct.
They need to get that dude on more projects.
Oh, yes.
Any Marvel exec, if you pass by this and check out the middle of the middle of a video for some reason, talk to that dude some fucking more, because goddamn, he killed it.
Now, the only thing I'm thinking
Get that dude to direct the next Guardians movie.
Dude, no. James Gunn is killing it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let James Gunn do that. But I tell you what, you want to talk about a second coming, it's him, Taika. Let him do, there's got to be...
You know what I'd like?
Much a prediction? Thor 4?
Maybe,
Electric
Are they looking, are they looking for anyone to direct some more Spider-Man?
Ooh, yeah.
Because if y'all don't know this and you only watch the movies, Spidey's a funny dude. He likes the jokes.
The humor's there, yep. But this movie here, let's see. I like aside from the jokes and the funny haha and everything, there was a lot of setup that a lot of people maybe didn't see because he didn't throw it in your face.
Yeah.
So like much like Civil War, at the end of this movie, which we'll get to, because I want to touch upon little bullet points. At the end of this movie, everybody at this point is fractured in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of tough to, which we'll get to that too, because we've talked about this before about good Marvel cinematic villains.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, Thanos is coming. Oh, Thanos is coming. Wait for Thanos. Wait for Thanos. But, like, in the meantime, there's been a lot of ripe, really good, strong villains that they've just kind of, like, pissed away.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cate Blanchett as Hela is going to be one of those strong villains. Because she didn't die. I'm telling you that right now. She didn't die.
Yeah.
And my theory is when... much like Civil War, there was a massive change in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Asgard falls. Everyone is now fractured in one form or another, setting up Infinity War. Okay? Hela, if you read the comics, is nothing like she was on screen. On screen. A little bit better, I like that, because in the comics, she's Loki's daughter.
Yeah.
Whereas I liked how they set her up here.
As the eldest sister of the
and Odin
children.
And Odin had the power to, no matter, as long as he's alive, wherever he exists, she can't go. That's why we haven't seen her up until this point.
And at the beginning, towards the beginning of the movie,
Spoilers.
Odin is done. He gives up his power.
He passes away. Yeah. Which was great. I thought it was great because now we get to see her, and she is badass.
Mm-hmm.
And forces, at times, the brothers, who are always in strife, to team up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, okay, we don't get along. You're a little asshole. Oh, you're an arrogant, Lord of Thunder. We'll get to that. But Asgard's our home. And then all of a sudden, now we got this. We got Big Sister giving us both noogies.
She broke my favorite toy.
She fucking destroyed Mjolnir.
Yeah. Thor's all like, yeah, fuck this bitch. And he throws this hammer, and she just catches it like a freaking softball and just crushes it with her hand.
Which, if he'd have done that to Odin, would be the exact same thing.
Yeah, which is made my top 5 moments of Thor Ragnarok. That was number 5.
Okay, we'll get there. But what I'm saying is, though, like, all the setups for this. So going into Infinity Wars, again, this is our speculation moment. We talked about this before, where we don't know where Captain America and Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans stand, but I'm pretty sure they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the first Infinity War, Part 1, there's going to be a lot of death. And then Part 2 will be setting up, here's your new Avengers.
I'll save that one for another podcast, actually. But it has to do with some characters and changes.
Here's one right here. I'm telling you right now, in the first Part 1 Infinity War, again, my prediction. First noble death after seeing Ragnarok and seeing the first Avengers and seeing everything that's going on and the ending to Ragnarok, the first noble, sacrificial, fucking hero redemption death, Loki.
Yeah.
Loki.
Like, I could see that. I could see that happening. Like, especially after that realization of, like, his brothers always really loved him and always wanted to support him.
Remember the first Avengers?
Yeah.
Loki was with the Chitauri and Thanos and all that. And all of a sudden now, he's working with he's helping them, and he's doing this, and he failed.
Yeah.
Thanos ain't standing for that shit.
Like, I could easily see it being like, because, all right, let's jump ahead to the very end in the credit scenes.
Which one?
I only saw the first one where Thanos' ship, or a big ass ship,
The Sanctuary 2. That was the Sanctuary.
jumps in front of the ship that the Asgardians are on, and everyone is under the assumption that that is Thanos' ship.
I could pretty much guarantee that.
So, we're thinking. I'm thinking he's there to pick up Loki and whatever Loki may or may not have on his person. So Loki will probably either sacrifice himself there, or go and work under Thanos, and at some point be like, I don't like the way this guy is running the show. I need to help the other team. I could easily see him doing that. And that leading to his noble sacrifice. His Coulson death, if you will.
Coulson death, but not really. Okay. Oh, that's good. You know what? I thought about that. And I just said that at the top of the podcast. I'm like, I guarantee, but not really. I mean, I can't guarantee, but I'm speculating hard that he took the Tesseract. And then you just said that. I'm like, oh, shit, that's right.
So, we said we weren't going to write the next movie. But,
we're doing it.
But we evidently are. Before we started recording, like, he told his wife, it probably won't be that long. We'll just blow through it. Unless we start writing the Thor Ragnarok 2 Electric Boogaloo.
We're doing we're working on, now we'll let Taika do part 4. We want more.
Yeah.
But, let's see. Was there anything you didn't like about it?
I did not like my seats.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the movie itself.
Yeah, that was the only thing I didn't like.
That's a whole.
I mean, I'd have to watch it again to like notice something I didn't like, but I was just so impressed by it with
I can tell you right now, like
first viewing.
I don't know if anybody got the gist, but no, we didn't need to get rid of Moliere. And the only other thing, it was like, I mean, I know this is like a side thing, and it's kind of like it caught everybody up. It's like, why weren't Thor and Hulk in Civil War?
Yeah.
Well, now we know, and for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I think them getting rid of Mjolnir is interesting because basically throughout Hulk's entire life, that thing's been a security blanket. Except it's a security blanket that it kept his overwhelming powers in check.
Yeah, I did catch that.
Like when Thor later on in the movie has this vision of him talking with Odin. He's like, she destroyed the hammer. I can't fight without the hammer. He's like, you don't need the hammer, son. That was just to keep your powers at bay so you could control them. And then he has this moment and, lightning. Bitching.
What are the best lines? You're the god of thunder, not the god of hammers.
Yeah, you're the god of thunder, not the god of hammers.
Which was great because I was sitting there. That was the part they almost lost me because I'm like, okay, it's turned into an after-school special where the power's been inside you all the time. It's like, all right, I get it. But no!
Then he goes full riding.
But the other thing that was, because it wasn't on Earth, mm-hmm. like as a viewer or as a writer, it's like the first Avengers or even anything, there's always that threat. And you can identify that, whether you know it or not, it's like subconscious.
Yeah.
You write the thing. But this was safe. This was a side story. This was the buddy comedy / sitcom like we just talked about. Yeah. Oh, we haven't even got there yet. So I didn't feel that there was really much of a threat, especially in the mid part. Not to mention the fact that Cate Blanchett came in strong and she killed everything. Every time she was on camera, she dominated as an actress. But she was also put, as the story went, opposite ends of Thor and Loki. Mm-hmm. Like, if you think about it, Thor and Loki, she threw him off the Bifrost and went into the wormhole, and they landed on Battleworld, Sakaar, where she's doing this, and she had Carl Urban, Judge Dredd, Scourge. And they didn't really give him much to do.
Yeah. That's a deep pull of Easter egg, though, like... Because he's a character, he was like in the movie, he was an Asgardian who was like obsessed with mortal guns. This unnamed Des and Troy. Put them together, you destroy.
Brief note, in the comic, Baldur gets killed in Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. Fucking Hela killed all three of the heroes' three. Like, they're dead.
Yeah.
Like, two, like, in a blink of an eye, and then... It's like, wow.
I'm just the janitor.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot about that. That was so funny. But see, the thing is, though, it's like Hela, as great as she was, it's like watching. For me, it was like watching Batman, where Hela is like very scheming, and there's layers upon layers upon layers, and making deals, and you don't know, and double crosses, and you don't know that you're doing her bidding till after the fact. It's kind of like Batman, It's like he's the greatest detective, but all you see him doing is punching and doing this. Mm-hmm. Let's do some detecting. Let's do some scheming. Let's do some, with Hela. But I mean, first run she was great, and my prediction is also in the comics. Thanos does what he does because he's in love with death, and death is
Hela. Hela is the god of death
in the cinematic universe, but Hela in the comics and Death are two different characters.
Yeah, they're two different characters in the comics.
That's why I'm saying I don't think she died.
I think she's probably just somewhere in the universe weak and fragile because she got all of her strength from Asgard, and it has been... Oh, we'll get there.
That would be great. No, that's pretty much... I mean, You're right. We're there. We're kind of going through here.
Yeah.
Where are we at on time?
44 and a half.
44?
Zip.
No, not zip.
Zip, zip.
We haven't talked about we can't end it without our favorite moments and talking about these last two characters.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Hulk for a minute.
Yes. Hey, have you guys ever wanted to see the Hulk's ass?
I have. I didn't know I did, but I have. And it's great.
It's green.
He must work out. I wish they didn't show Hulk in the trailer after seeing that. How much better would that movie have been?
Yeah.
I understand the fact that they're wanting to draw people in and make money.
Yeah.
So they had to put him in there.
That scene where he's like, oh, yes, I know him. He's a friend from work. That hilarious, awesome scene when you saw that in the trailer, right?
Oh my god.
And it's the same when you see it in the movie. And I definitely agree with Sean. It definitely took something from them.
This goes back to the fact that it's like, well, yeah, that scene right there, that watching the trailer, I told my wife the other day, I don't know why, so you can bleep this part out if you want. It's like, I remember being with like the super hot chick and actually get to have sex with her, but you're like a 3-pump chump because you're so worked up. I'm like, man, I wish I would have done it differently. It's like, man, I wish I wouldn't have seen Hulk in the trailer. She's looking at me going, how do you compare that to that?
Apples to oranges, Sean.
I'm
Apples
like, hey,
to oranges.
I saw Hulk ass. Kind of turned me on a little bit.
Well, that's burned in my mind. I'm never forgetting that. Also, Thor stares directly at Hulk's penis, and it scarred him for life.
Oh, when he's doing the champion thing. You know the other thing? We talked about the Beta Ray Bill. You know what else I noticed, too?
What?
Man-Thing was on that totem.
I thought that might have been Man-Thing.
That's Man-Thing.
Didn't really know for sure. I saw internet rumors as well, but
I zoomed in. I've got my now the other thing, speaking of trailers, we both saw the original trailer. The surprise that we both talked about. Now you look like Dad.
Oh yeah.
Hela takes Thor's eye.
Yes. Which that's a pull from the Thor God of Thunder comic run. He loses his eye and ends up becoming the new Odin, essentially.
Yeah, and then they do Ultimate Asgard.
Yeah.
Where Ultimate Asgard, do you remember that one?
I never read that one.
Ultimate Asgard was him rebuilding Asgard after Ragnarok. And then there's this being called the Maker that comes down. And we find out that it's an evil, twisted version of Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four. And he's got like these superpowered beings that he's like constructed. And they kill all the Asgardians. And he's going after the World Tree on Asgard.
Yeah.
And they eventually take him down. But then Thor refurbishes himself and goes into like, bonds with the World Tree. And they, to the point where they change his name. They refer to him as Valhalla. Like he is the being.
Yeah.
Like beyond Odin.
Huh.
Which is a pretty cool story. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about moments.
Yes.
Shall we do our list?
Yes, I have 5 moments that I decided were my favorite. I'm gonna go from 5 being the lowest.
Hulk ascending order.
Hulk ascending order. Okay. So number 5, Hela's entrance, where she displays her power by breaking the hammer. I know you don't like the hammer being broken.
I don't like you right now.
But you can't disagree that set the tone for how powerful she is right from the get-go and showed that she is the bad guy in this movie.
All right. Cue the pussy chants. I cried.
No!
Every time we do a podcast
the god of hammers.
I cried at an inanimate object. Moliere.
How many do you have on your list?
I got 5.
All right, cool. So 5 now, and
Want me to do my number 5?
Yeah, we'll do us back and forth.
All right, my number 5 was the hot tub Hulk / Hulk ass. Of course, I'm going with that.
Of course.
It's like, okay, there's that scene right there. I know you guys probably, if you haven't seen the movie, you're not going to know, but spoilers. After the big fight, he's in there. Hulk's the champion. He's got this nice room, nice
sweet
palace, everything. Thor is in there for something. They let him in there.
Yeah, I'm sure Hulk was like kept him. Probably told everyone he's like a battle trophy.
Thor is looking around. He's getting his bearings. He doesn't know where he's at. And then in the background, they kind of zoom in, and there's Hulk in a hot tub.
Yeah, big ass hot tub.
And which I was laughing because it's like that's something. You woke up. Let's say you're going to see this movie. You're going to pay your money. That's not on your list of things like you expected to see that day. Hulk in a hot tub. Not to mention the fact he gets out of the hot tub as he's talking to Thor, because on Sakaar, which they kind of didn't touch on Planet Hulk. Bruce Banner at this point has been Hulk for over 2 years. A little over 2 years. And on Sakaar, they did touch on the fact that nothing makes sense and it affects everybody differently.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he cannot revert back to Banner, and he can maintain a conversation.
Yeah.
And he's consciousness, which is out of the books.
Yeah.
Which, if you notice, when he went to Asgard, he was going back to Hulk smash and this, that, but he was having a conversation with Thor on Sakaar.
Yeah.
And is it, Hulk like fire. Thor's like fire too, but Hulk like raging fire. Thor like smoldering fire.
yeah.
But he's sitting there and he's like, he gets out of the hot tub and he's like, and he drops the towel and Thor's like, oh, so naked. Oh, that's burned in my brain. I'm never going to unsee that. And then he goes to the window and you see Hulk ass.
Yep.
So that's mine.
Hulk does squats.
Ooh.
Very firm.
Oh, very firm.
My number 4 is the play of Loki's death.
Like I said, as a director and seeing stuff, I loved Anthony Hopkins. And he's eating grapes and stuff like that, but go ahead.
That scene was hilarious, and it pulled Thor as a frog out. That was awesome.
God, I totally I missed that, and I wish...
Also, this isn't on my list, but I have to mention it because it was the thing that made me laugh the hardest throughout the whole movie. And it was when they were trying to decide whether they were going to trust Loki to help them escape the planet. And
snake story?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Thor was like, I don't trust him either. Like he's tried to kill me so many times. Like when we were younger. Like, I really love snakes. So he disguised himself as a snake, and when I saw him, I was like, oh, yeah, so cool. So I went to admire the serpent. And when I came up and grabbed it, he turned back into Loki and was like, yeah, it's me, and he stabbed me. That just hit, and the way that hit me, I was dying in the theater. And, I thought about it later in the movie, and I started chuckling to myself, and I leaned over to Josh, and I'm thinking about the snake story again.
And they cut scene where they just show Loki over the corner fucking
snickering.
Giggling. Yeah, he's like, just yeah,
it's me.
All right. Yeah, that was a good one.
What's your number 4?
Mine, too, is also Loki. It's when, right after that, what do you say after that? They're talking about how they're going to get off Battle World and everything like that. They're talking about, Thor picks this, and they're making a strategy and everything. And Loki goes, I too would like safe passage through the anus. Because
the exit is called the
anus.
I thought it was the devil's anus or something.
The devil's anus, but it's anus. Zanus. But he calls it the anus. The devil's anus. I too would like safe passage through the anus. I was like, bah! Because
Sean wishes that every time he goes to the bathroom.
Here I am again. I'm like a little kid, which this movie, again, like I'm always saying, these movies make me a little kid reading comics again because this movie's fun.
No, there's
funny.
There's 2 ways to know if you're an adult yet. 2 time-honored traditions that show that a man has crossed into adulthood.
Here we go.
If he does not laugh at Bangkok... or Uranus.
It's confirmed. I'm still Thor.
I was as straight-faced as I was on that Space Monkeys.
Oh, you suck, by the way. I wish I hadn't got you. Deep cut right there. All right, your number, what are we on?
3.
3.
I'm going to switch my 3 for my 2. So my number 3 is Loki's head between Thor's hand and the hammer. After, Thor's, trash talking Loki while he's disguised as Odin, trying to coax him out, and he's like, all right, we really going to do this? Are you really going to make me do this? And he throws the hammer and grabs Odin/Loki by the back of the head and says, and whispers into his ear, you know the hammer always returns to my hand. And they wait. And the hammer starts coming back, and he's like, all right. So he pushes him out of the way, catches the hammer, which was straight out of the comics. Straight out of the comics. That was, and I thought about it, I was like, I bet he bullied Loki like that as a kid. Think about, the other movies where, to keep Loki from running away, he sets the hammer on his chest.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I don't think they alluded the fact that Thor had all this power and all this praise, and Loki secretly saw that.
Yeah.
And he loathed them. But Thor was oblivious because he was always in awe of Loki. He was always he's my brother. I don't care about any of this other stuff.
Yeah.
Like that elevator scene. But what you said though, he did that with that hell dog. Remember he put it on the jaw?
Yeah.
That was badass. All right, mine. Was that it? Is it my turn or okay?
Go.
I've got Bruce Banner landing on the Bifrost.
And sources tell me that was your wife's favorite scene.
Oh my god. So they're doing the big battle at the end. It's the third act. Everybody's come together. We haven't even talked about Heimdall. They gave him a lot to do, like Chewbacca in the last Star Wars movie. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, he was badass. No offense, but nothing really worth going into.
Yeah.
But he's leading the resistance against Hela. He's got all there. By this time, the Revengers are there. And Valkyrie and Bruce Banner, who is not the Hulk at this time, just Bruce Banner, are up in the ship.
Dressed as Tony Stark.
Dressed as Tony Stark. They're up there watching the battle going on. There's Hela's giant Hell Wolf.
Yeah. And
all the undead army coming. And what she's trying to do basically is get the sword from Heimdall to go to Earth. Mm-hmm. She wants to open up the Bifrost to go to Earth.
Yeah.
And so they're fighting, they're doing this, and Thor's come down at this point, and they're fighting, and there's some resistance. He's made his grand entrance. And Banner turns to Valkyrie.
Throughout the whole time, Valkyrie's like, why do I recognize you?
That's the thing, yeah, because she knew Hulk.
He's like, I just got one of those faces.
On Battle World, they trained together.
Yeah.
They do this, but she'd never seen him as Banner. Mm-hmm. And she's always like, God, I know you.
Don't I know you too?
Don't I know you? Yeah, they're like...
Isn't that weird?
So he goes... The grand entrance, if you guys remember, at this point, it's not Mark Ruffalo, it's Ed Norton. Mm-hmm. Falling out of the helicopter, that Universal movie. Yeah. And when he falls out of the helicopter, by the time he hits the ground, he turns into the Hulk. And the first Avengers, he's like, oh, remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's my trick, Captain. I'm always angry. And he turns at will and takes down the Chitauri, the big whale thing. Mm-hmm. This one, on Asgard, he jumps out of the ship. After this big speech with Valkyrie, he's like,
know who I am? This is who I am.
You want to know who I am? You'll see. And he jumps out of the ship.
Falls 20, 25 feet maybe.
And splats in front of this, like a Braveheart scene where the two armies are coming together. And they both stop when he hits the bridge. Even the dog does that confused dog tilt the head type thing. My wife lost it.
That was a good scene.
Oh my god! And then eventually he turns into the Hulk. But that scene right there was the best.
My number 2 is Get Help.
Yeah.
After that, like we said, after that heartwarming scene where they come to terms with who they are to each other in the elevator and decide to do the Get Help. That scene killed me. I was like, I was watching it, I was like, how are they gonna, like, are they gonna do like a classic, like, oh no, they're hurt, get help, and like have the people like run away and go to get help? I did not see him throwing Loki coming. That really came out of left field for me.
That's a genius scene too, because it didn't undercut the sentimental, heartfelt moment before it. It just kind of added to it.
Yeah.
You know? Didn't take away from anything. It was great. It was also, even the fact that he's still sitting there. Remember, there was a callback to that scene when Korg shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey. Remember he's got the remote thing? Because remember Thor's like throwing the remote? Oh, yeah. I'll leave that for you.
Oh, yeah. So throughout most of the movie, Thor has a shock thing on him that the people of the planet were using to control him. Well, he eventually gets that taken off, puts it onto Loki because Loki tries to double cross him.
He's like,
"Oh, I'm glad you accept me for who I am, brother." So
you start to get hip to Loki's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know.
So Thor puts that on him and shocks him, so he's stuck there as he makes his escape.
Hey, what are you doing down there? You need this? We're gonna get on this ship here and get out of here. You want to come with us? Korg. Korg is like...
You know who Korg reminds me of? Any Canadian ever.
But with...
Hey, you want to play some hockey?
Yeah.
Got this staff with 3 sticks on it. It's not... Another day, another Doug.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, new Doug. New Doug. All right, my number 2. Thor spinning in chains at the beginning of the movie, talking to Surta.
Yes.
The fire demon.
Hold on. Wait. I'm coming back around.
Oh my god.
Wait a sec.
So you got this giant, very impressive, that looks very expensive for the movie, huge fire demon from the underworld, giving his bad guy monologue, who's captured Thor. And he's giving his bad guy monologue of how he's going to enact. He's the one who's going to enact Ragnarok on Asgard. How he's going to destroy it. He's going down. But the whole time, Thor is hanging and tied up and in chains.
Yeah.
But it's spinning as like a baby's mobile.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, hold that thought. Hold on, let me come back around.
Like if you ever tried to do that pocket watch hypnosis thing.
Yes.
Where you try and but the watch keeps spinning and you're like, no, fucking quit it. Just stay straight. It's basically that. It was just hanging there and slowly spinning.
Yeah. He's like, oh, hold that thought. Let me come back around. All right, go.
I'm not even doing this. It just keeps happening.
Yeah, it's not me. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, that was definitely a really good scene.
Oh, that was fucking awesome.
Number 1.
Number 1.
My number 1 scene. Most of these are funny. There was so much funny in this movie.
How can you not?
Like, I think the reason they made our list mostly is because they're so different than what the other Marvel movies have been doing. Like, the only other Marvel movie that had like a lot of humor was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, see, that's another one of my predictions. Is like, think of the last 3 movies. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, and then this one, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
A lot of funny haha, a lot of lightheartedness, because the
next is
February is Black Panther.
Yeah.
And it's going to be more of an expansion. I mean, he was introduced in Civil War, but this is going to be more of a serious setup type thing.
And after that, people are going to start dying.
Infinity, yeah. Because shit's going to go down.
All right, so do you guys remember in the first Avengers when Loki is confronted by Hulk? He's like, I'm a god! And Hulk just grabs him and does the Hulk smash. Beauty god.
Beauty god.
Well, when Thor and Hulk are in the Coliseum fighting each other, like Hulk, they're fighting it out, and Thor's like, sun's going down.
You start doing the
sun's going down, and Thor starts to calm down for a second, and then the crowd starts cheering, Hulk, 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 and he's like, and smash, 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 smash.
He does it to Thor. He does the...
And then up in the stands, because Loki's tight with the Grandmaster, yes, yes, that's how that feels.
Oh, he was so happy. But remember the introduction?
Mm-hmm.
Looked like he was about to shit in his pants.
Yeah,
when
Hulk comes out.
Get off this planet.
When Hulk comes out and, Thor's like, yeah, I know him. He's a friend from Loki. Look, it's Hulk.
Look who it is.
Yeah, I have to get off this planet.
Because the last time he saw Hulk,
smash, bang, bang,
beating his fucking ass. Oh, that's your number one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of that, I have to get off this planet, right? No, just because of the yes, that's how that feels.
That whole he's all giddy about it and everything. He's like, yes.
It's like if I stubbed my toe, if Sean stubbed his toe, and I was like, ha ha ha, sucker. And then a week later, I stubbed my toe. How does it feel, bitch?
It's like, yes, yes. Oh, my God. All right, my number one, the speech when he finally, him and Valkyrie finally bond.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about getting back, when he finds out that she's a Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Like, she's an Asgardian. And they're in Hulk's quarters, and Hulk's sitting there in the background, and he's exercising, and he's training, and he's got that red. I'm assuming it's a big ball that he does his reflexes with.
Yeah, I was imagining it like a racquetball or
maybe kind of like that, but Hulk size.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there giving the speech to Valkyrie, where he's like, "I can get you off this planet. You won't have to be imprisoned anymore." She's like, "Mm-hmm." She goes, "You could take your revenge that you rightfully deserve." She's like, "Mm-hmm." He goes, "You can come back and live up to your heritage." Mm-hmm. "You won't have to sit here and drink yourself to death." She goes, "They're still going to be drinking."
I'm still going to be drinking.
"I'm still going to be drinking." And he's like, "I am Thor, god of thunder, son of Odin. I need to come back, and we have a team. All are together. We are unstoppable." And Hulk throws him that ball.
What's your team called?
The Revengers.
The Avengers? Yeah.
Because I want revenge. You want revenge. Hulk, you want revenge? Hulk just kind of shucks him up. He's like, "All right, we will take revenge together. We will be the dominant force." And he throws that ball at the window to bust out. He throws the ball and it bounces back and smacks him dead in the face, and he falls to the ground. I'm not doing it justice talking about it. You gotta see that scene.
Yeah.
I'm dying right now just thinking about it. That was my laugh. I mean, that's why I had to go back and see it a second time, because I know I missed the next 15, 20 minutes of that movie because tears, I'm just I couldn't catch my breath. When he threw that ball, it came back, knocked him flat out. Oh, the only other thing, I mean, we have not talked about it. I know we're getting ready to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster just for a minute?
Man.
Let's go out on this note.
That man.
Oh, speaking of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Or just not even meaning to be funny.
He just does. He does everything so naturally.
He's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
He's being Jeff Goldblum. And nobody cared.
See, Jeff Goldblum. He finds a way.
Oh, the play and the Grandmaster. You want to mention that? Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, go for it.
Even though they didn't share a scene, that's the first time they've been in the same movie since 1993 Jurassic Park.
Yeah. So it was the guy that was playing Odin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the guy that played Odin was in Jurassic Park as well. I didn't catch who that was.
The doctor.
The doctor.
The main character, the Sam Neill. He's been in a ton of stuff. He was in.
Oh yeah.
You know who he is.
Yeah. Didn't really recognize him with the eye patch and the beard.
I'm like, I had to look at it. The second viewing, I had to. That was one of those ones where I had to go back and like, oh crap.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum was amazing as expected. I mean, he's freaking Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I'm stepping in it. I'm stepping in it.
Yeah, like he really like nailed the eccentric ruler part. Like,
should we quote a few Grandmaster things and then
yeah.
at the very end credit scene? That's how we'll end the podcast.
I didn't watch the very end.
You didn't see the very end?
No, we left.
Oh, okay. So we're doing. Remember when you first saw him? The like Thor's in the thing in the chair. You first meet. You're about ready. You're going to meet the Grandmaster in 3 seconds. You're going to meet the Grandmaster in 2 seconds. You are meeting the Grandmaster. Ah! And then the people are just staring at him like, what? And that little alien next to him, and he pokes him and melts him.
With the melty stick?
The melty stick. He's like, oh, I'm stepping in it. He just melts. He's like, oh, I'm stepping in it. I'm stepping in it. Why? And what about the, he's explaining, like, so, as an audience, in that scene, we're kind of like with Thor. It's like, where are we? Mm-hmm. And Jeff Goldblum explains Sakaar, the battle world. And that one scene at the end where he's explaining this, he explained the fights, he's explaining, the pecking order of everything, the society, and then at the end he's like, nothing really makes sense, and it affects people differently. Like, for instance, anywhere else I'd be like over 1 million years old, but on Sakaar, and he gives that Jeff Goldblum smile, and doesn't say a goddamn word. And just leaves everybody hanging. I was dying.
How old are you, Jeff? How?
Yeah. The end credit scene, the very end credit scene, was him in the junk, the junk dump.
Oh yeah.
And all the dudes with the funky masks that first mess with Thor. Mm-hmm. After the uprising and everything.
Yeah.
Him and what's her name? Obsidian? His second gets out. And they're like, and Jeff Goldblum does this speech where he's like, all right, you guys had a great uprising. Kudos to you. Pats on the back. Let's everybody pat ourselves on the back. You're going to want to pat me on the back too, because without an uprising, you need somebody to uprise against. You're welcome. He's like, pat on the back, pat on the back. He's like, yay for us. Team effort. And it just cut. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Just Jeff Goldblum.
So,
in case you guys haven't noticed, Ryan and I love the movie.
Yeah. It was pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, it was alright.
I mean, I might see it. I might rent it.
At this point, as of this recording, it did $383.7 million overseas. And in the United States, $644.6 million. So add that together.
Jesus.
And buy him a new Moliere.
Alrighty. Dang.
Yeah.
We're in the wrong business.
I know. Mr. Watiti, keep up the good work.
Come direct our podcast.
Yeah.
We need better writers. So far, we got this jackass from Birds of Prey.
Hey!
Wait, I think you two have met.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. Smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Ding! So you get notified of all our future uploads, blah, blah, blah. Go see Thor Ragnarok.
Go see it twice.
Or go see it a second time if you've already seen it.
Yes.
And as always,
if you have safe passage through the anus, have a day.